Hey folks, so I recently needed to buy some new hiking boots because my old boots are starting to split down the sides, and last time I went out in them they leaked and I got wet feet. So I was chatting to another YouTuber by the name of Wild Camper about his boots, where he got them from and stuff, and he recommended I go to Cotswold Outdoors because they fit your feet. You know, they measure and they pick the boots that they think are right for your feet. And so they took the time to measure my feet, and he bought me 3 or 4 different pairs to try, and the ones that suited me the best, the ones that were the most comfortable, were Scarpas. These are the Trek GTX and they are comfort fit. So these Scarpa boots come in different models depending on the shape of your feet, and because I've got slightly narrow feet, these Trek ones are suited to me. These are 9.5. I normally would wear a 9, but the guy measured me properly and said 9.5 would be the boot to fit me. So that level of service I thought was really good. These boots were just over £200, so they are not cheap at all. My previous boots were about 50 quid, and they lasted me just over a year before they started to fall apart. So there is an element of getting what you pay for with hiking boots. So these particular boots are an all leather boot. We got this kind of protective bumper around them, which I think will suit me, not just for the walking and dinging it on rocks, but also the nature of what I do in the woods with campfires and things. I'm forever sticking my boot in and kicking the fire. They got a Gore-Tex liner inside, and the tongue is sort of joined here, which I like, so they should be fully waterproof, at least up to that far. During the course of this video I'm going to wear them in now, and then I'm going to wear them on a few hikes, a few camping trips, and I will report back over the next sort of 6 months or so, and we'll see how they are. But let's put them on first and see how they look. What I did like about these boots is when you do them up, you pull this bit tight, and then you've got the first bits you hook them on. That maintains the tension. Then you don't have to hold these bits really tight, because that maintains the tension. So again, pull that bit nice and tight, loop them over the first 2 hooks, and then you haven't got to hold on to them too tight, so you don't lose that tension in this part of the foot, which I think is really good. So firstly, you know, they look okay. I don't think they look quite as nice as the soft boots. I think the soft boots just look a little bit cooler, but these, to me, they look functional, which is probably more important. They're nice and tight around here. My foot doesn't slip inside. You've got to wear the right socks, obviously, but the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. So we're going to say, I'm going to wear them in for a couple of weeks, and then then I'll be doing my first hike, which will be a gentle start, and I'll report back over the next kind of 6 months or so and see how we get on for comfort and blisters and how they hold up. But I've got high hopes. I hope that they're going to be very good. So I will come back to you in a few weeks' time. So I've had these boots now for 7 months, I think. Just checking in and reporting on progress. They're a little bit untidy because I've just come back from a trip in the woods, so they are a bit beaten up. But in a minute we're going to move on to maintenance. But I just want to talk a little bit about them from the perspective of the last 7 months. Now I wore these in, I wore them around the house, I wore them in the garden and that sort of thing for a couple of weeks, and they were fine. I went on my first trip with them, which was to Dartmoor, I think. I did a kind of a 2-night, so a kind of a 3-day walking type trip, and they were fine. They didn't leak. We had bad weather and they didn't leak at all. I've had no blisters That's what was amazing. I've had no blisters from wearing these. And don't get me wrong, you've got to wear the proper socks. So I wear a thin sort of inner sock, and then I wear a hiking sock outside of that, a thicker one that's a little bit warmer. And they're expensive for socks, you know, it's about 20 quid for a pair of them. And I just wear an ordinary inner kind of sock. So the rubbing, if there is rubbing, happens between the two socks rather than between your foot and the boot. But I've not even had any hot spots in them, to be fair. You know, I've walked for hours in them comfortably, and they're just my boots now. You know what I mean? I don't think about them. I've done woodland trips, as I say. I've kicked logs around a campfire. You know, there's no splits. I mean, you know, they're a little bit dinged up and they're a little bit dirty, but we will restore them in a minute. So I've never had a blister. I've never had wet feet in them either. You know, I've been out in some really bad weather and I don't worry about my feet getting wet. I've walked through puddles, I've walked through fords, I've walked through wet, long, tussocky grass, and you know, I've got wet because, you know, waterproof clothing, inevitably you get sort of seeping water everywhere, but I've never had wet feet. So that's a real testament to how good these boots are. Yeah, and I say, I'm really pleased. They've held up really well. And anyone that knows me knows that I don't particularly look after stuff very well. You know, I'm very heavy-handed, I'm very cavalier about things. You know, I'm forever breaking camera tripods because rather than undo stuff, I just sort of force it into place and bang it on the ground. You know, my tools, my knives and axes and things, you know, I don't spend hours looking after them. They're tools to be used, and these are the same. You know, I don't treat them with any kind of special treatment when I'm out in them. I just wear them, and you know, if I need to kick wood in a fire, then I stick my foot in and kick it about. If I need to clear away mud and debris and things from where I'm going to set up a shelter, then I'll just use my feet. So they've not been looked after in the sense of, you know, I haven't just worn them around the house. You know, I've really used them and they've done brilliantly. It was a lot of money to lay out on a pair of boots, but there hasn't been a day where I've regretted it. I think they're really, really good. Good quality. Never had wet feet, never had a blister. But go to the shop, you know. It's all very well buying stuff online, but for something like this, to look after your feet, you've got to go to the shop, you've got to get them fitted properly. You know, that bit of service that the shop gives you goes a long way. So I would go and visit them and get the right fit for yourself. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found the video helpful. If you could hit the thumbs up, I'd be most grateful. Thanks very much.